Hello, I'm Jen Carlos with an ELCAT meeting update for November 22nd, 2017. At its continuation of the public hearing on a proposed bylaw to regulate adult stores in East Longmeadow, the Planning Board discussed several issues regarding location and residential setback restrictions in the proposal. This would effectively prohibit an applicant from siting a store anywhere in the town's business district.
Unfortunately, none of our business zones are 500 feet wide, or 1,000 feet wide, I should say. And they all have residential on both sides. And so the 500-foot setback from residential is not going to work. However, I had done a zoning map, which I think the board can see, and what is available basically is four corners where Westwood and Maple Shade.
May I interrupt you, Chair, if you will? What is available within the 500 or
No,
within the 1,000?
Within the 1,000 from parks and schools and churches.
Okay.
Is four corners where Maple Shade, Westwood, and North Main come together. There's a fairly substantial block of land there. Also, North Main from about Harkness Avenue north. And if we decide to include the industrial zone, there would then be some room at the end of Baldwin Street that would be available.
But that's it, that's not including the setback from the residential.
That does not include the setback from residential because, quite frankly, we have a long linear strip of business, commercial, and industrial, and it's very narrow.
Well, one of the big discussions that we heard, was 1,000 feet from this building that we're sitting in, and you were using the boundary of the ball fields, which essentially then went out to the industrial park, or came all the way over to the bike path.
Yeah.
All woods, all whatever. So that seemed somewhat large to me, that amount of space, because it's really not the building, it's the boundary of the property. So.
And, my thought is that the kids are all over the school property.
Kids are all over in front of liquor stores, they're all in front of the vape shop, they're all over in front of other properties or other businesses that some people might believe are inappropriate as well.
Courts have consistently found such prohibitions unconstitutional.
If we restricted it too severely, then there was no place in town they could go, then the bylaw could be challenged in the courts, and we don't want to spend the town's money in the courts if we can avoid it.
A number of residents also took the opportunity to voice questions and concerns.
And if I was going to brand the town of East Longmeadow, an adult novelty, lingerie, literature store would not make sense to me.
I have 4 kids, and I didn't come to this town really to have a adult novelty shop in the center. I just think it's bizarre. And I think, as a town, we need to build our town up, guys. We do not need to tear it down.
Do we know why they picked East Longmeadow?
Yes.
Is it because of no bylaws? Is that
Yes.
why?
No bylaw.
Okay.
Because they could.
Exactly.
Chairman George Kingston commented on the process of developing a workable bylaw that the Planning Board could vote to recommend to the Town Council.
The people who wanted to come in here are operating under that bylaw under special permit in Greenfield right now. And about the only difference is their setback from residential is 50 feet.
Yeah, it seems like you need some number.
Yeah.
500 is not going to work.
Right. 50 might.
50 might.
Okay, that's about a third of a lot.
Is it possible for us to have like a workshop session where we could sit down and spend some time and really
That we mentioned
digest
last
this and then
week,
come
2
back
weeks
to
ago? Yes.
a public hearing and talk about what we came up with?
Yeah, we can do that.
I would love to move forward with that.
I think we should do that, because I really feel strongly that this needs to be away from the residential area as well. And if we're talking 50 feet, that's, as far as I'm concerned, that's not acceptable.
After hearing all the public comments, the board voted to continue the hearing until December 5th, with the intention of scheduling a working meeting prior to the continuation.
We're going to continue it to, what's next?
The next one's December 5th.
December 5th,
Yep.
at what time?
Your last meeting was at 6:30, so I'm not sure what time. 6:45?
6:45, on December 5th.
Does that give us enough time to do a working meeting?
Or maybe we schedule one next week.
If we can schedule one next week, yeah.
You gotta post it.
That meeting would allow members to discuss the options and revisions necessary to make a workable bylaw. The board took a major step forward in the proposed mixed-use development on the former package machinery property on Chestnut Street.
Do I have a motion to recommend the bylaw as written and to recommend a change in the zoning map to make parcel 18380 the mixed-use district?
The board voted unanimously to accept the parcel as a new zoning district, allowing the development partnership to move forward with cleanup and demolition of the massive industrial building on the site.
So moved with no inclusion of the design standards.
Very good.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So we're recommending the bylaw, and we're recommending the zoning map change.
John Tykina, representing the developers, assured residents that even if the proposed zoning were not to be accepted by the town, the owners have committed to cleaning the property.
Just wondering if the site itself, you talked about the decrepit site, if it will be, if the zoning is not changed or if the zoning situation is not accepted, will you still plan on cleaning up the property? Or do you plan to leave it and move on?
No, we are actually, that was the meeting I had this afternoon. So, first of all, the current owner has owned it for a long time. So they've been long-term East Long Meadow property owners, for a long time, and they're going to continue being property owners for a long time. So they have already undertaken, a superficial cleanup of the site, if you will. The secondary cleanup is going to take place next. And then we've already decided collectively with them that it's time, that the building it's had its life, it's time for the next chapter. So
So the current owner is going to follow through with that?
Yes, it'll be
cleanup process.
Yes.
And finally, signs at the new gas station may soon be open for business. The board approved the canopy and pylon signs for the project. No word yet on the actual opening date.
Number of proposed signs is 3. Total square footage of proposed signs is 48 square feet. Total square footage of proposed and existing signs is 96 square feet. The application's been signed. The estimated cost is $2,500.
That's it for this ELCAT meeting update. I'm Jen Carlos.